It's been a year of ups and downs at the box office in 2024 so far, with even the famously reliable horror genre largely failing to deliver on its easy earner status. However, a little old picture that released last week, Longlegs, seems to be taking audiences by storm, opening with $22.6 million at the US box office, and in the process becoming the biggest opening indie horror movie in a decade. So, why have these long legs proved to be such a winner? From some next-level marketing to the inimitable aesthetic director Osgood Perkins has fashioned, there's a lot going on here that has made Longlegs one of the best stories of 2024. I'm Ewan, this is What Culture, and with me today to discuss this brilliantly creepy Cage flick is surely the longest-legged man in What Culture. It's Gareth Morgan. How you doing, Gareth?
I'm ready right now. I want to talk all things Longlegs and just get into this creepy success that we've got right now.
I'm super excited to talk about this movie. I literally was coming into today hoping that we would get a good excuse to talk about it because I saw it on Friday after work, and after being really excited and roped in by the marketing, obviously, being really curious to see Nicolas Cage is on a bit of a renaissance at the minute between stuff like Pig and Dream Scenario last year. And also the fact that the movie was tapping into those kind of 90s thriller horror vibes, the likes of Silence of the Lambs has been mentioned as a big influence. Seven was mentioned. I've seen some comparisons going around with The Exorcist 3, which is my favorite horror movie sequel of all time. And it largely lived up to the hype. I absolutely had a blast with this movie on Friday. It's a fantastic, just kind of really cool look at childhood trauma and like the way that the horrors of the world are kind of guarded from us growing up, and then when you come and reflect on them as an adult and the horror becomes more apparent and how that impacts you. It's also just beautifully directed, really well acted. Micah Monroe is brilliant, Nicolas Cage is fantastic, and it has one of the scariest opening scenes in a horror movie I've seen in a very, very long time. It's going to stick with me for a while, and I'm actually going to go rewatch it on Thursday with friends, because I went on Friday on a solo trip. And yeah, one of my favorites of the year so far. It's an absolute blast, and you're going to go see it this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go tonight. I'm literally, I've booked my tickets just on the back of, like you're saying here, all the market has been superb. Like, it's really just drawn me in over the week. I've had a lot of stuff on, not been able to catch it, but it's been there. It's just been simmering away in the background, just infecting my brain. I'm like, I need to just scratch this itch. It's been there. I've been cuckooed a lot this weekend. So yeah, I'm going to go, and it's one of those things where you look at this marketing campaign, it reminds me to a certain degree of like the viral nature of something like a Smile or like Megan that came out over the last couple of years, where it's just that word of mouth and just they've understood what the film is, and they've understood like not how to just completely give you everything like straight away. They've left some like element of curiosity still in there, so you don't feel like you've seen the entire movie, but at the same time you get a full understanding of the vibe, and the vibe has just captured my interest completely. I'm like, I want to be unsettled, I want to be disturbed, and from the sounds of it, from what a lot of people are saying, not just about Cage's character in particular, but just the film, the overall tone of it, it will just crawl into your mind and will not leave.
Yeah, those long legs are going to get in there. The marketing, I think, has been a complete masterstroke from the folks at Neon. I really am a big fan of how much these trailers and teasers, and obviously we'll get into kind of like the gimmicky marketing bits that they did as well with like the 90s style true crime websites where you can go and look through the different murder cases that feature in the movie. But I think the big thing, is obfuscation and intrigue. The fact that Nicolas Cage is in the film, they've kind of guarded his presence. You don't see his full visage in any of the trailers. The marketing kind of obscures everything. You only see glimpses of his face. It's kind of that chalk white, dead aesthetic that's going on with him, which I think is kind of just a huge plus. The idea that you can watch a trailer for a horror movie and, like you say, you get the vibe, but there's something imperceptible about why you're intrigued and drawn to it. Something that's tapping into the spaces in between, that isn't just a case of you're watching a movie about a creepy serial killer. You're watching something that's literally crawling into the fabric of why we feel scared about things. And the trailers have done that all so well. Obviously, Cage has got like a growing... Not that he's never had a brilliant reputation, but certainly in the last few years, the work that he's done between stuff like Pig and Dream Scenario, and the fact that he's choosing all these interesting projects, I feel probably has fed into things as well. And obviously, long-term, horror is like the savior of the movies. You know, it's all most success stories, low-budget horror movies that turn massive profits, that get people intrigued and get butts in seats. And I'm just really happy that Longlegs of, you know, and we've had some really, really good horror movies this year, like The First Omen. I know people really enjoyed Immaculate. But this one, I'm so glad that it's Longlegs that has, you know, taken its steps over the finishing line. And I do think as well that there's probably going to be legs in its box office. I think this isn't just going to be like a flash in the pan opening weekend thing. Obviously, people have been drawn to it because there was lots of really positive buzz out of festival showings, lots of hyperbole doing the rounds on social media, hyping it up as this really scary movie. And it is really, really good. And I think the more people talk about it, the more people talk about, you know, the idea of like what Nicolas Cage is pulling off in his performance, how great Michael Monroe is, how gorgeous the movie looks. You know, Oz Perkins has done a tremendous job here. I really do think we're looking at like one of the best feel-good movie. Not that it's a feel-good movie. I mean, it might be depending on how you feel about horror. But in terms of like, you know, the health of the industry and the fact that, you know, a distributor like Neon can bring a $10 million budget horror movie to screens and it opens up so strongly. That bodes so well, I think, for, you know, the movies, as it were, but also kind of like audience habits as well. Because obviously we've had a lot of, if you look at the top 10 of the box office grosses this year, there's a lot of franchise sequels, lots of stuff that you'd expect to be there. But also I feel like this shows the willingness and kind of carrying on from the Barbenheimer trend from last year, that people are wanting to see new, curious things that, you know, they can really go with. And I enjoyed the movie so much, and it makes me so happy that it's doing well.
Yeah, and as a director, it seems like Perkins as well, like for me, like breakout stars you tend to get in like these kind of movies, like you tend to get a performance where you go, wow, that's made them now, or whatever it is. And like Michael Monroe's had a few brilliant performances already. Like I love her in Significant Other, if you've seen that. It's like a sci-fi horror. That's fantastic. She has a hell of a performance in that. Nick Cage is Nick Cage, but to see a director like kind of have their breakout moment really with the movie. I'd never heard of Perkins before this, like just not full transparency, I just never heard of him, but it sounds like he very much understood the assignment of what this film was. It's not now. We live in the time of IP and franchises where it's like, oh, if a movie does well, we're going to set up a franchise, but he actually had a comment to, I think it was Dexerto recently, and they were asking like, oh, well, is there sequel potential if the film does well, as they always do? And his response was, let's see how it does at the box office. That's what informs all things. I think that, yes, of course, once you've settled on something that seems to work, people enjoy it, there's the nagging impulse to think like, oh, we could probably do it again, stretch it out a little. But there's also something glorious about leaving things alone, right? That's harder to do, isn't it? Isn't it harder to leave something alone than it is to try to do it again? So I like that, just leaving this just to linger as its own thing, because what you're going to have going forward is a director, if they've got this kind of film as their calling card, or like their like thing everyone knows about, if you just don't take that at all and just let it grow and have this legacy and just be this modern, I don't know, masterpiece, I'm hearing a lot of people say.
It's so singular.
Yeah.
I think that's the interesting thing there. And what is so frustrating about like interviewers asking about sequel potential already is I think Perkins is bringing something personable about like kind of commentaries and relationships with childhood and like the idea of like how that perceives, like how that carries through. So I think, I agree with you. I think if this is allowed to stand on its own, that only heightens the intrigue factor from people. You know, the idea that it's not a franchise horror picture. It's something that someone has brought a lot of great, intriguing, authorial intent to, that doesn't feel derivative, feels so totally original, despite those other influences we talked about at the start of the video. I totally agree. I would be interested if he did a sequel.
But it's one of the, I like the idea right now of directors just having their own brand to a certain degree. Like, you don't have to just be like a franchise maker and all the rest of it. Like, you look at Jordan Peele's, every one of his films, it's its own thing, and he's become the brand now. He's become, it's a Jordan Peele film. I love it to become a thing where it's a Perkins film. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we can go into that realm. I think that's, for me, I think you get more longevity as a director if you've got that, rather than just going, oh, it's the guy who does all the Longlegs movies. It's like, great, that's fine, but no matter what, you're gonna get diminishing returns just at some point. You just are. You keep trying to do, like, playing the same sandbox over and over again, like, you are gonna get that. Whereas if you just keep trying to make a different sandbox and just go and do things completely different that nobody saw coming, that, for me, that's fresh. And there's clearly an audience for this kind of stuff, as we're seeing that, like, this is where Hollywood, like, I don't know, the movie business seems to be making all of its like massive profits, really. Like,
horror is consistently over the years like it's fertile ground for good economic filmmaking, and the fact that Longlegs is doing well is a testament to that. But certainly, there's the whole different factors that have contributed to it getting kind of like phenomenon status. The marketing, like the 90s website that you can go to is like just really, really, really.
You sent me this, and I was like, what am I looking at?
Genuinely, I think Gareth was a little bit concerned when I sent this along to you in the morning, because it was like, oh, this looks like just someone's serial killer project. This is very weird.
You need to tell me something new and what's going on.
But it kind of you mentioned like Smile, that had some really good viral marketing the other year with the people standing at the like different sports games just smiling in the background. I love it when movies get inventive and fun and playful and make him an event, and I feel like the marketing for Longlegs has made it an event. The fact that you can then you grab people in with kind of those keeping the terror off screen, out of frame, and then adding in the intrigue of like, oh, Nicolas Cage is in this, but he's kind of we're not showing him that much. That in itself, I think, is brilliant. And just super, super happy that it's doing well. And like you, Gareth, I haven't seen any other Oz Perkins movies outside of Longlegs, so I'm definitely going to be checking out those soon, because I had a blast with this, and again, gonna go rewatch it later this week.
Hopefully, we've just got a new voice. Do you know what I mean? I just hope this is just ushering in a new voice in horror, like, because it's the place right now where you feel like directors can have a bit of a chance to do something a bit different and really let their own voice be heard. There's no studio tampering or anything like that. It's just they come in, they go, this is the movie I want to make, and then people react to it, they get a response, and it just shows like people want singular voices. Like, sure, like there's always going to be a bit of a desire for franchises and everything else, but there is enough people out there that just want to see something different and just have the life get out of them.
Gimme us our tours, we need them. But yeah, I think that about covers everything with Longlegs. If you've seen the movie, let us know down in the comments below. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? What specific aspect of the marketing really got you in? Was it the Cage stuff? Was it the website stuff? Was it just the general trailers? Let us know down there. Be sure to subscribe to What Culture if you haven't already. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. And also check out What Culture Horror, because if you like Longlegs, there's a whole channel just dedicated to horror-y stuff in our little family, so you should go check them out as well. But yeah, I've been Ewan. Thank you all for watching. This is Gareth.
Yeah, this is a very spooked Gareth.
Cuckoo.
I'm a big baby. I love it.
Bye.